Hi, I'm Simon with Snippy Media, and we're here today to talk about categories and attributes. We also have one additional thing we want to talk about after that, and that's going to be brand name and logo added to your products. So, for the most part, a successful shop owner would want to segment their products into categories to make it easier for the consumer to find online. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over here on the left hand side. We're going to hover over the products under the menu, and we're going to go here to categories. Now that we're in the category screen, you can see that I already have some categories listed here. And let me show you what the shop looks like with some of these categories in place. So our shop is sorted here by default by the newest product added. So everything here is sort of in a mix. So if the customer wants to drill down by the category, they can go ahead and click on the drop down menu and they can search for example, t-shirts. And as you can see here, there's nothing but t-shirts available because that's what the customer is looking for. So this is the importance of using categories within your shop, especially if you have multiple kinds of product items. So let's go back into our category settings, and we're going to go ahead and add a category. So in the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to upload a product, and we're going to be uploading iPhone 6. And in order to upload that iPhone 6, we're going to have to add a product category for mobile phones since we don't yet have one. So we're going to go ahead and type a name, mobile phones, and I'm going to type a slug. Now for those of you that don't know, a slug, as it says here, is the URL friendly version of the name. So this will pop up in the URL, and in order to make it URL friendly, you cannot have spaces, and you cannot have capitalization, and you cannot have punctuation. So we're going to make this very simple. We're just going to type in mobile-phone, and that'll work just fine. Now, is there a parent for this category? No, this is the top tier category. And then we're going to create a child category underneath that in just a moment. So under description, we don't need to add a description unless this is something that you want to add for the purposes of explaining the category to your employees or to whoever helps you manage the shop. Otherwise, the description does not show up to the front end client. The consumer won't see it. So under display type, we're going to go ahead and leave it as default, but you can go ahead and choose products, subcategories, or both. By default, regardless, we show our shop products on the shop page. We don't show our categories first and then have the customer click through the categories just to get to the products. No. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and add new product category. But for those of you that do want to have categories listed before the products show up in the shop, we can do that by just adding a category and adding an image to that category. That way they have a thumbnail image of what the category looks like or what's contained in that category, and then they can go ahead and open that up and view all the products within it. For most people, it's simpler just to view every single product in your store on one page and allow the customer to filter through it by category. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to leave that thumbnail blank because we're not showing category images. So we're going to go ahead and add this category. And as you can see here, we added mobile phones. Now there are plenty of mobile phones out there, so we're going to want to add another category, and we're going to call this one smartphones because the iPhone is a smartphone. So under the slug, we're just going to type in smart-phones. You can also keep it as short as you like. You could just do it as initials, SP, if that's quicker for you. So under parent, we're going to show here that the parent for this category is mobile phones because smartphones is a child category of mobile phones. So let's go ahead and display that. We're going to skip the description. The display type is default. We're not going to add a thumbnail. We're just going to add this. And as you can see, the dash over here to the left of the words smartphone shows you that it is a child category of mobile phones. As you can see down here, we have a couple of sub-child categories. Basically, categories act as a hierarchy. So you can go into as many levels as necessary in order to drill down. So if I wanted to add a second child category to smartphones, I can add, for example, Apple phones and Samsung phones under this. But let's keep it simple and let's move on to the next thing. So that's categories. Now we want to go ahead and talk about attributes. Attributes are a very important factor in any shop because it allows the customer to differentiate between two products. So let's take a look at attributes here on the left. All right, so this is what the attributes setup looks like. So in the attribute setup, as you can see, you can set different kinds of attributes per different products, and it's easier to set it up here instead of doing it on the fly under each specific product. So here we have color, size. You could set just about anything you want. So what we're going to do is, since in the next video we're going to upload an iPhone, I want to make sure that we set the attributes for that now. So that's what we'll do. So our first attribute for an iPhone, as everyone knows, is different sizes and storage. So we're going to type here storage size as an attribute. And for the slug, I'm just going to keep it short. Again, no capitalization, no punctuation, and no spaces. Next, we're going to move on to enable archives. This does not matter. I don't recommend you guys mess with this. Just leave it alone. All your products are going to be in your store. You don't need to archive it because once you run out of a product, you're going to probably have to delete that product just to save storage space and keep your site running smoothly. So we're going to skip that. We're going to go to the type here. What type of attribute do we want this to look like? So we can just make it look like plain text. We can make it look like a color picker, but this is not a color. We can add small images that the customer can pick from if they have trouble reading, which I doubt. Or we're going to choose label. Label looks pretty clever and it's going to add a nice touch to your store. So we're going to go ahead and choose label. The default sort order, we're going to go ahead and choose custom ordering. That will allow us to manually drag the labels in and choose the order that we want it to be in. And I'll show you guys that in a moment. Let's go ahead and add this attribute. All right, now that we've added the attribute of storage size, let's go ahead and customize this attribute with some conditions or options. So we're going to go here to the configure items icon and we're going to click on that. All right, so now we want to configure this storage size. So the iPhone comes in many storage size, but for the sake of this example, we're just going to use 3 of them. So we're going to start out with the 16 gigabyte. And for the slug, we're just going to use a simple 16 GB to show in the URL that it's a 16 gigabyte model. For the parent, there is no parent. You don't need to put a description because the consumer will not see this description. Under the label, now the label is the most important part because this is what the customer sees under the product. So for the label, we're just going to keep it simple and put 16 gigabyte. And we're going to add this. All right, as you can see here, this is what the label looks like. It's a small 16 gigabyte label. So when we add a few of these under the product, it's going to give it a real nice look. So let's go ahead and add the rest right now. All right, so I went ahead and I added all of my labels. Now I want to reorder them because as you can see here, I have the 64 gigabyte up top, but I don't necessarily want that there. I want to move the 16 gigabyte up top, so I'm going to just go ahead and drag it up there. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the 32 gigabyte because I want them in order from lowest to highest. All right, now that we've customized the order of our attribute options, we can go ahead and just exit this page because now we've added all the attributes we want. Let me show you the different kinds of attributes that I showed you earlier. Let me show you what they look like. So if we go here under attributes, let's go back to its main screen. We have colors. You can use a color picker to change the different kinds of colors in an attribute, and I'll show you what that looks like now. Let's go ahead and configure this colors. All right, so as you can see here, I've already added a whole list of colors that we can choose from, and you're going to go ahead and add your own colors per each product, and you can choose the colors by using a color picker. So I'll show you how to do that right now. Let's say we wanted to add dark green. So I'm going to go ahead and type a name, dark green, and I'm going to add a slug, and I'm just going to abbreviate it, dark green. Description, I don't think this really needs a description. And now I'm going to choose the color dark green. So I'm going to go here to green, and let's go a little darker and a little less opacity. Now I have a dark green color. I'm going to go ahead and add this. And there you go. Now we have a dark green color added to our list of colors. And that's how easy that is to go ahead and add the color. Let me show you what it looks like now under one of our products, one of our sample products that we already have in our sample shop. All right, here's a polo sweater we've added as a sample product just to show a couple of different attributes that we added to this. So as you can see here, there's a few different pictures for the sweater, so it clearly comes in different colors. And here is the color picker for each different attribute color option that we've added. So we have here the gray, the red, and the blue. These are the labels that we've added, and we've added different, we use sizing, obviously, because it's a clothing item. So we have small, medium, large, extra large. So the customer can go ahead and choose a color and a size. And when I show you guys how to upload a product in the next video, we'll show you how to do what's called a variable product, which is what you're looking at now, a product that has multiple sizes and multiple colors, and there could be many different attributes added on that will basically multiply your product. So this is a variable product with a couple of different attributes involved in it. Let's go back to our attributes here. Now the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is brands. Now this is kind of a cool new feature that we've added on. Some of you can request it. It is an additional add-on, and it will allow you, let me show you under one of our products, it will allow you to have a brand name and a logo for that brand. Now this is useful because when someone clicks on a brand, it will be taken to a shop page that only shows the products within that brand. So this can be very valuable. For instance, if someone has a favorite brand and they go to your online store searching for that specific brand, they have the ability to not just view the category in which that item is in, but also the brand name of which that item is in. So it allows the customer to further filter down into your shop by brand name. And it's just a cool added feature that you also get the logo in there as well. So let me show you guys how to do that. So let's go back here. Let's go to brands on the left, submenu under products. All right, here we are in the brand settings. So as I said in the next video, we're going to go ahead and upload a product. I'm going to show you guys how to upload an iPhone with a couple of different attributes and variations. So I would like to add the Apple logo and brand name as one of my brands listed in my store because I carry Apple products. So let's go ahead and add the name here. I'm going to say Apple Inc. And for the slug, I'm just going to type Apple. That's good enough. Keep it short and sweet. Again, no spaces, no capitalization, and no punctuation. So let's move down here. There's no parent for this brand. We don't need a description. Now the URL, you would set a URL under this logo if you want the consumer to be redirected to a specific page. It could be externally outside of your website or internally to a different page on your website. But if you leave it blank, it will show the customer all the products in your store under that brand name. So that's what we want to do. We want to leave this blank because we don't want to redirect the customer anywhere else. Is it a featured brand? You can make it featured if we have a slider or some kind of setting on your home page that shows only featured brands. But for most people, we're going to go ahead and show all the brands. So let's go down here to the thumbnail. We're going to upload and add the logo here so that we can show the logo right besides the name of the brand. So I'm going to go ahead here. I can choose from the files in my media library, or I can go ahead and upload a file. So I'm going to do that. And I have here a folder labeled sample products, and I'm going to go ahead and choose the Apple logo that I already have set. Now, generally speaking, these brand logos, we set them as PNG images, which allows us to cut out the background and just focus on the logo itself. So this image actually does not have a background. And we set the size to 150 pixels wide by 44 pixels high. I'm going to go ahead and open this. Alright, our logo has been uploaded, and as you can see it has no background. That's because it is a PNG image and the background is cut out, leaving us with just the logo. It's 150 by 44 pixels, and we're going to go ahead and use this image. And don't worry about the distorted thumbnail image over here. The system will recognize this image properly on the front end. So we're going to go ahead and add this as a new brand. Alright, as you can see here, we have a new brand called Apple Inc. and we have a little Apple logo for the brand. And under the count, you can see that there is a 0 count. That's because we have not yet uploaded a product with that brand. You can see here that we have assigned a few products to the other brands in our list in our sample shop. For example, Hugo Boss, we have two products assigned for this brand. And if I were to click on Hugo Boss, and here we have a shop page that shows us only the products under that one brand that we just clicked on. You do have the ability to go ahead and edit the brand and the logo after the fact if you need to. If you want to change the name and the logo, you can. If you want to remove it altogether, you have that option as well. But as you can see, the brand feature adds a little flair to the website, and it can even differentiate your e-commerce site from the other guys. I'm Simon with Snippy Media. I hope this has been another informative tutorial on your e-commerce store. We hope to hear from you guys, and good luck with your online endeavors.